All right. It's always half past the hour as we devour the religious relic of psychedelic conversations. In our psychotic erotic elation, we've toppled every tower and played a song of hypnotic supersonic power. In our chaotic exotic imaginations, we sung so sweet as it sung so sour. In the age of robotic transformation, hey, 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 we kill the cage of the colorless conscience in the bionic, demonic, spiritually embryonic world of antibiotic worms that devour electronic germs as the autocratic squares dramatically squirm to feel the nuclear circle of the systematic sex appeal they project upon their progeny and peel the loudest lemons laced with the proudest bitterness in the crowded excavation. Eventual evacuation from a cloud is disallowed by the divine claw that bowed upon the law of love, 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 love. Ooh, ooh, love, yeah. Love, you can see the kiss and reveal the zombie zeal to exterminate our musical monsters, and melodic spellcasters like the make-believe masters who pretend they're fate's last friend. Too late, cause they defend the gate of hate and spend their frantic sparks in planetary arcs of eroding parks and quoting Karl Marx but voting for the gridlock of oligarchs as they dare to wear a knockoff necromantic necklace to prove how the reckless are feckless in the sexless solitude that never really moves from the grooves of fluorescent light meant to suggest a dress at night. What's wrong? Doesn't belong among the bright bombs and sacrificial songs for the white bitches whose bloody starlight needs stitches. And they bite the toxic bulge of the emergency itches, quasi-divergent glitches of a secretly subby hub as anti-insurgent urges between surges of delight and the cinematics insight of psychosomatic trauma of the dramatic silence of violence and flight and reliance on reason and clinical defiance of every freezing season of the soul, season of the soul, season of the soul, yeah, righteously ignite the calm bomb of a spiteful pigeon in the blasting pleasure of profane treasure, and a religion to measure the mess I smite with magnetic lightning and frightening confetti of an unsteady storm ready to crumble the feast of false facts and the pretend priest and mystical hacks with the artistic ballistic attacks from the distance of sacred wine up and down the spine, all the way to the resistance of your mind with the acrobatic stowing of a fanatical axe and the glowing upholstery of a bureaucratic sideshow to distract the spears of the spirit with years of cellophane fears and saccharine tears whose beggar's wage is made to evade the victory parade of the unpaid wind whose blade needs the shade of loneliness to trade the disgusting, mistrusting part they played in the faded plagiarism to assuage the awful audience with the blustering blankets of tanks that spank the spirit and the central banks to wank off to in the plain blessed ruination and dirty desolation of the stage whose rage I ride. Hey! Ooh, all right. Can you feel it? To numb the arthritic kingdom with the dart of the apocalyptic heart and recreate a river from the memory of a boat, like an overcoat for the cold of the gold they hold, and a seagull for the rock and roll flight to the sea, and a clock of heavy metal bending and mending of a vacuum, with a mass obsessive greed and the possessive stained glass creed of creatures never freed from the two-faced triggers of internalized aggression and the colonized oppression that dries into the lyrical lies of vampiric alibis and fangs of racist slang like a misogynistic Time Lag magazine that still brags in the honeysuckle ads of skinny scarecrows clad in the sick clover of class and the headless honey of make-believe money in paper bags wrapped in the rags of forsaken flags. Yeah, the ruthless, toothless euthanasia of truth by secular depression. And the molecular masses of incomplete gases and the phenomenal dresses and abdominal caresses of a nominal mom whose incestual generation and ancestral devils defile the desert with miles of math and smiles that murder the water of expression. As a lonely daughter of doubt dies without the sunrise and the haunted hurricane of sugarcane fruit flies and pests that taunted the rest and flaunted the roots like thorns in the thighs of a primal jackal who shackles justice with a fluency of indecency and a viper's venom of vacuous value. Hear the piper's flute in the back alley of a muted ride made of rootless alibis, ruthless eyes of bargain buys, as dawn in disguise, comes with uncertainty by way of microscopes and down bacterial soaps upon the slippery slopes tied to the ropes of reactionary fractional strangers in the dangerous exposure of wires to the liars who fuel the fires and explosive empires of manipulation. Hey, manipulation! Mass manipulation! Mass manipulation. Mass manipulation. And they deny, they defy, they cry. They cry in a fury as we cast the spell of a bell of wings that rings for the kings of oblivion. I bring a gavel of springs unraveling smoke and sing the gravel of traveling broke like the spoke of a wheel around the hallucination of hell and the reincarnation of an anorexic past into the ecstatic blast of radioactive illumination. Yeah. Too fast for the quiet, too dark for the diet of death, and the wicked breath of a blight embedded in the sleight of hand miracles of second-rate magicians with the rote resin of revised, televised boredom to mesmerize. What we miss with the kaleidoscope kiss of a token insurrection and the unspoken bark of the birthmark of an Orphic resurrection from the mythic misery, the mythic mystery, beheaded for a joke gone wrong. In the sad sedition of 3-second sound bites to attract the slow motion train wreck of emotion into additive forces to extract and hoard the heretical reward of genocidal resources with the suicidal pride to ride the rail of a trance through the dance of a choice in the gloomy advance of a voice that collides with the vengeful tides to annihilate the drunken ape and decorative rape of romance that harms and hides in the red tape of failure and the blasphemous grail painted grain to distract the gloomy glance from the tainted gray plants like a fog to devour the criminal sin of a chemical thief with a minimal belief from the gaping maw and drawn dream of superpowers sewn into a survivor's cape. You can't. The survivor's cape is my proudest identity, being a survivor. You can't escape. And the shape of fate is a cut-up collage of chance in the great obstacle course of circumstance. As time rogues ride phantom horses into restrictively corrosive fictions, they clean the scene, the screen with meaningless detachment of unseen mental morphine and the nameless neural nicotine of the night and the life of a constricting, addicting shell as small as a bathroom stall in the hall. From a cell phone, cyanide well of counterfeit convictions on the carousel of crucifixions and tower depictions of catalytic afflictions. And they swear by the barefoot benedictions and accidentally beg for the vague locus of ultraviolet daylight, ultraviolet daylight, ultraviolet daylight, ultraviolet daylight, ultraviolet daylight, ultraviolet day, hey, 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 hey. Like a plague of plastic places and elastic faces that right on the wall with the cool poison pen of pent-up anxiety in a society of sin between comfort and a cruel queen. In the costume of an underpaid Christ with a grudge enough to judge and a smile to smudge the blood from the teeth beneath the fucked up feelings of impulsive carnage. I hunger for the cataclysmic tongue and mercury delusions and unusual medicinal infusions from the horrible hubristic faucet of fateful vision and impossible fusion in the closet of naked neurodivergent conclusions born in the rich poverty of poetry, torn from the web of maternal spiders, spiders, maternal spiders. Yeah, 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 spiders, 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 spiders. Eternal spiders, internal jet fighters, and the eternal swaying of ephemeral lighters. Can't you see them? To the dissociative insiders and imitative writers who consume extraterrestrial all-nighters and sell the song that fell from the morning. Ooh, hey, hey, nightmare stallions intrusively scare and scar the air with despair, and the revolutionary trumpets blare from the queer carriage, yeah, queer carriage of our fairy marriage, and commence to kill the confusion of never with the sense of always, in the metaphysical fight over snowflake flaws and Rumpelstiltskin metamorphoses of straw into the self-esteem of things that gleam in the extreme malice, in the palace of paralytic paws and the callous politicians of Oz, behind the delirious gauze and quagmire of machinery to inspire the nauseating normalization of leeches. Oh, well, baby, that ain't too cool. No, baby, that ain't too cool. To suck the sea from the beaches across the movable math of creation. Trite, polite, philharmonic applause for the capitalist captors and the cable news disarmament of the blues, and the ableist karma at the table of arrogance, unable to vanish from the perverse fable of mannish self-protection and outlandish labels of misdirection, like the host of an almost unstable infection of a terminal erection for the well-rehearsed seesaws that never pause in their isolating cause of cynical jaws. And they screech and they squirm and reach for each peach of superstitious bacon. Reach preach fishes and wishes and wait for the many to pray without a penny or any consequences for the bruise they call paying your dues, as the few sublimate their emotional desperation into the delicious hate of having to feel and face the great infirmity, is what they call it, of the surreal imagination. So real, yeah, so real. The surreal imagination. To the surreal imagination. And the wheel of words buried in the bottle of cemetery birds, as Mother Mary coddles the holy toddler like an absurd rumor of zero in the infinite humor of heroic resignation, as the godless battalion of baboons with silver spoons and goons whose moons wear the styrofoam glory of fame and the story of gory gluttony and daily deeds to replace their needs and powerless, flowerless weeds with seeds of soot in the sacramental greed, as they grab the gravity of grace and stab it like a habit of toothpaste for the cavity of tasteless indifference, in the wasted extravagance of a murderer's last meal, as real as the skin of society's ghost in the house of regret, with a cigarette propensity to let the density of economic slavery and comic book atomic immensity of villainous schemes that continue to game the games, name the names, tame the tame, shame and blame the beast. Their beauty became as they conform to the dorm of knowledge and the symphonically soothing, yeah. Paralysis of a performative college bred to rule the dead with a normative nail that bled like the forbidden bed, ridden ash of bubonic sorrow. Yeah, to ease the fountain of clamorous calliopes and please the inconsolable breeze and swallow the suffering seas of tomorrow with a voracious appetite of periodic table fills, the rapid thrills and rapid onset chills as flirtatious frills and salacious windowsills watch the spacious spills of a conversation that kills and the audacious backyard grills and mown grass like suede hair distills the careless masquerade afraid to be fair as the city of no pity calls some shitty cab to carry the scab of dysentery drills into the scavenger hills and skeleton skills that pay the bones of their rapacious bills as the gracious unknown stills the unbearable moon. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, yeah. The gracious unknown, the unbearable moon. Hey, 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 hey. And the unrepairable throne of a palatial clone of calamity in the spacious paradigm of being alone all the time like a silent wind chime to hone a heartless amnesia on the bike that's never grown out of the overthrown psyche within the royal rage of the coiled serpent eating its own drone strike, prone to the collateral damage in the battle of biblical leather and the blood-stained weather vane as they rattle the cage with the American-made rampage of unilateral grammar and the inflatable glamour of a Hollywood camera whose misunderstood suburban good weighs down the door like wet wood that should but would not move from the struggle and strain within the pain of poverty and the war of the poor. No goddamn bandage can hide. And we cried these crowns and frowns and the profound underground sounds of the tragic worthwhile magic and self-styled words as wild as musical windmills chased through the wasted untasted feelings, yeah, laced with futures blown into blackness as the crone of the ozone speaks of revolution revolutionary action, revolutionary revolution, revolution, and wreaks the daily distraction of doom to consume the fallacious faction of dissenters and wailing winters and shopping centers and cursed coffins of imaginary ills embedded in the shredded shroud of prophetic garbage that fulfills the many wills of the wind and the garish parable of a sonnet like a bonnet whose far-fetched daffodils are sketched on the hills with the inking quills and metaphorical megaphones that doubt the drought and shout about the weird world that disappeared into the blurry blue as true believers, true believers, believers, true believers, believers, believers. As true believers deconstruct the blisters of dogmatic deceivers and detractors of desire, they'll never outlast the crass, crude crumbs of broken glass as the creepy, sleepy sharks of the deep keep glancing at the weepy wives married to the upscale whale of an oversized detail in the jaundiced jail of refrigerators and unopened mail and the tumbling wall and humbling downfall of a rouge deluge and a cheap lipstick refuge through the veil of vulnerability as subliminal hostility continues to contrast what's lost to the postmodern cost of aluminum foil and affordable gods with rods to spoil the enigmatic species of dirt clods whose self-destructive dance in the static erratic motion to the drum of numb devotion and the dim banter and game of pandering to the slim slander of hijackers loud as firecrackers in the police state of philosophy's hypocrisy. Like the disease of moronic males and stale scumbag hails to another shamanic Hitler, as the boiling ocean of actors with mechanical gills for the oil spills and loyal Atlantis gargoyles made of monotone stone, cracking in the undertone of a sickness sewn into the scared, intuitively impaired insulation of an unwearable childhood that slices the prices of sacrificial laws of impossible, tosses up the dice, tosses up the dice. All right, can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it, man? To deal with the uncrossable shadows who groan like a tombstone for the shameless shovel and nameless taste of terrible tractors, to toil and till the junkyard soil as weed whackers trim the chaos of healthy loss within the cross of messianic movers and pretty provers of sardonic fairy tale small talk made to mock and impale the frail freedom of the vagabond highway beyond the pale sun and the neurotic episodic sale of the sublime for the ironic dime of a candy collar and a red-handed dollar that dented desire with scent and fire, dumbing down of rebirth, 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 rebirth into the worthlessly spherical bait and switch of an empirical hell on earth, in the satirical sadness and the madness of a mnemonic mime whose catatonic crime is an impersonation of real rhyme. In the time of hedonistic joys and deafening noise that destroys the toxic toys of a carnival on the brink. Carnival on the blink, look out! On the brink of damnation that shrivels and shrinks from the prophetic sky. Hey, like an eye that can't blink as sun-tide hounds hopelessly high from the stink and the fumes of the fake flower they take from the elastic element that blows in the totalitarian tunes that sink into bedrooms where brain bugs follow soul slugs across the comfortable rugs and drastic drugs from their jealous jugs of control. And they think the ink of elevation is a tonic to eliminate pain and desecrate the rain in the gutter drain of an insane, well-trained link of a self-fulfilling chain as they periodically claim courage and ironically forage in the paranoid career of fear and bask in the casket of a mirror and ask to be nearer to nothing as they mask the task of mass exploitation. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, baby, rise up, rise up. And they invisibly cower in the marshmallow flames of the tepid and mild, like the bland child of not choosing and refusing to complain, because they're using the same Teutonic darkness but losing the spark of the spider spinning the ominous needle of new beginnings from the sophistry of recycled sinning into the inevitable grinning of reality winning. And there's a meadow lark to mark the musical flight of our seismic reunion in the wallowing rain. Yeah, I can see it all, of a holographic heaven high as the gallows of a craven play to obey the script and behave for the shallow graves of 7 unsaved sisters and Mr. Everyman's paved road to an exploding wave of non-existence against the starlight stole like a coincidence of light in a once fallow field of the nourishing night, and the second sight that beckons and reckons with the chronic ruination of a hallowed revelation, hallowed revelation, hallowed, 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 hallowed revelation, hallowed, hallowed revelation, hallowed revelation.